Chelsea play host to West Ham on Saturday in a London derby, with the club sitting in 10th position in the Premier League standings, whilst West Ham make the short trip across to Stamford Bridge, sitting in 14th spot, and we will move level on points with Chelsea with a victory, of course. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. If you are new around here, please make sure you do go and hit the subscribe button. Please make sure you do hit that thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that bell notification. That bell notification will notify you when our shows do go live. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, then click the channel membership option as well. Now, without further ado, let's go and talk about the opposition. Let's go and talk about Chelsea. Now, when transfer deals are not getting confirmed until after midnight on transfer deadline day, it is arguably an acknowledgement that things are not necessarily going swimmingly in terms of progression, both on and off the pitch. Now, that is true with regards to Chelsea, who have only collected 7 points from a possible 15 in the top flight, and were left to react quickly in the transfer market to secure the signature of Denis Zakaria from Juventus. However, more long-term planning went into the acquisition of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who is currently sidelined with a broken jaw. And Thomas Tuchel knows and has no complaints with the club's. He said he had no complaints with the club's efforts in this transfer window. Nevertheless, the German must now find a way to try and get Chelsea back on track, particularly after their poor showing in the 2-1 defeat to Southampton on Tuesday night. Although Tuchel was correct in his assessment that Chelsea were quite disjointed and easy to beat, a quick solution for Chelsea would need to be found in order for them to try and keep on track for a race for the title come the end of the season. Now, a little bit of team news coming out of the Chelsea camp, and the fact of the matter is that they've signed more players, as well as Fofana could be in line to make his immediate debut for Chelsea after signing on the dotted line from Leicester City. Zakaria and Aubameyang are out of contention. However, players that West Ham have been linked to, Broja and Conor Gallagher, collectively could find themselves back in the team lineup, especially for the fact that we all know that David Moyes was looking at these two particular players as well. Now, Reece James, Trevoh Szoboszlai and Ruben Loftus-Cheek have all returned to training after illness, a knee issue and hamstring injury respectively. And so this will be an interesting lineup for Chelsea moving forward. But I think it's time now for us to talk about West Ham. So, of course, I'm here with my dad, just having a chin wag about the game ahead on Saturday, and it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. Now, you know, we've not had a 3 o'clock kickoff for such a long time on a Saturday, but, of course, growing up for you, that was a big deal for you.
All the time, yeah, 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock was a natural time for us. We never really had much other than the evening game. So 3 o'clock kickoff every Saturday, always look forward to it.
And I think, you know, maybe the modern player doesn't really know that as such, or especially a team that's maybe transitioning, having European football, you know, because then obviously Moyes mentioned it in his press conference, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday. Yeah. So having that traditional 3 o'clock kickoff is good, and it maybe lets the players know, you know, that this is what British football was about.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you. Yeah, no, it's completely changed. I mean, with the advent of European football, as you just said, there were different dates and times that they're playing the games now, getting the extension to Sunday to play and stuff like that, and even the evening kickoffs and things like that. It's changed it a lot. But mindset can help in some respects. I think it can help.
Yeah, I suppose also on top of that is we've got the European game the following Thursday, so it gives us an extra day to recover and work on getting players back to fit, if you know, Scamacas of the world, which we'll talk about in a minute. Anyway, let's quickly jump on to Chelsea. Nothing major. We've already kind of briefly spoken about them, but Thomas Tuchel's in charge. He's recruited some new players in there. He's brought in Aubameyang, who, of course, left in a bit of...
Well, he did. He kind of left with I don't know, a taste in the mouth. If that's the best way of describing it. However, when you listen to Thomas Tuchel talking, he actually said that he had never had one issue with him when he worked with him at Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
So he must be a great player, and maybe that was just a hiccup that he had at Arsenal.
Absolutely. What about another player though that they brought in the window, and it's Fofana from Leicester. I mean, he's a young lad. He didn't leave on good terms himself.
No.
However, he is a good centre half, a player that we were linked to for a while, but obviously he's gone for crazy money.
Yeah.
But you can sign all these players, but they do need to settle into the sides. I mean, but do you think Tuchel's got the ability to quickly define what these players are capable of doing in the Premier League?
Well, I think if he's looking for a number 9, which he said he is, and like we were with, and so we got Scamacca in, then I think it will kick off right away with him. I think because if the relationship is as close as he's saying it is, then there's a good chance that our defense will have to watch out with Aubameyang coming back. He's got a bit to prove.
Well, Aubameyang won't be playing in the game because he's not there. But I'm morely talking about Fofana in the central of defence.
Yeah.
He's a strong central defender. Yeah. First game under pressure. How do you think players handle that first game under pressure?
I think they're used to it now. I think even the fact that you've said about European football and the amount of football they play in and around Europe and stuff like that, I think they're used to that sort of pressure coming in, and I think the price tags are so high across the board. If you think about the prices that are paid for the players and that, they get used to that now. It's not doesn't seem to be the cowbell around their neck, if you know what I mean, but like it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of players that West Ham were linked to in the transfer window from the start all the way to the finish, but we didn't get over the line, was Conor Gallagher, who of course was on loan at West Brom and Crystal Palace. He performed really well for those sides. I think, David Moyes was saying that he was interested in bringing someone in of that caliber. On top of that, we had another player we were linked to, and that was Armando Broja, who was a kind of forward-thinking player. But again, they've both stuck and stayed with Chelsea. Yep. Thomas Tuchel's probably said to them, listen, there's going to be a bit of game time for you guys. As well. So they're obviously some threats that we need to watch out on. But a player that I know that you like in particular that's signed for Chelsea this year, starting his career again, I suppose you could say, is Sterling. Yeah. We need to really watch him, don't we? Because he is on his day a bloody brilliant player.
He's a great player. Yeah, I mean, he can do anything. I mean, he can be an individual. He can actually score the goals on his own. So that's what we've got to watch for. But he's also, because he's been part of a Man City formation, he can play with other people. Yeah. So he's going to be a threat
and a successful Man City as well. But listen, let's stop talking about Chelsea. Right. Let's come on to West Ham for a minute. Busy in the transfer market. Yeah. Just give me your very brief thoughts. I mean, listen, we've spent the most money I think that we've ever known in our time. Yeah. And we've not brought in the equivalent of 21 players like Nottingham Forest have done, but we've brought in 8 what look like real quality players. Now, going back to the Tottenham game, we saw the debut of Paqueta. He came on in the second half. I mean, what did you think of him?
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of style about him. I think he's going to be the. I mean, prior to him joining, they were just saying that it could be our new Dimitri Payet. That's what a lot of people were saying. I think he's got the ability to be that kind of individual player, somebody that we need, somebody that can spark something there, be individual with his skills, but also be part of a team.
Yeah. And the one thing I really noticed about him was he was getting stuck in. And that's something that David Moyes obviously has like a tick box exercise where he goes characteristics, ability. Yeah. But, I want every player that comes into this team to be able to get stuck in on a tackle. Yeah. And that's what I think we saw. He's not scared of putting the foot in there, is he?
No, he's not scared. No. But again, if you think about it, the South American football, you look at him and some of the what he'd be used to, how he's been brought up. If you look, even the likes of him, the likes of Messi and players like that, how they can actually handle a bit of rough play and give it out as well.
It's funny because I think a lot of people, and this is quite a good point actually, a lot of people always assume that when you're a particular player like that, that you might not be able to handle the rough game. But
No.
you've grew up watching
Yeah.
some of the best Brazil teams ever, Brazilian teams ever, and they are pretty hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, even if you look at Aguero, how he played as well, there's another one, and I admire some of them because some of the guys are small, and yet they can go, if they go down and they get hurt, they're going to get up straight away, very quick. And I think if we've got that kind of trait in the player that we've bought, then we should be getting very excited, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, listen, let's come away from Paqueta for a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of a battle up top. You know, Scamacca was missing from the Tottenham game. He wasn't well.
No.
He has been back in training today. However, what we've got to do is give plaudits to Antonio. He stepped up to the plate. The one thing with Antonio that I'll say is he's maybe benefited from being rested. He did call for it himself. He said, I want another player to come in to give me a challenge. But he's been rested and he's ready to rock and roll. And this is maybe where we may see a new Antonio again.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I listened to him on that, guys. I listened to him on a podcast there between him and Callum Wilson on BBC Sounds, a really good one to listen to. And you hear a little bit about how he's coping with the fact that Scamacca has come in and how he views that. And you might be thinking that, oh, you know, he might be very watchful of what's going to happen. Is, how am I going to get to play? But in fact, I think he's looking for that help, another energy-driven player like himself, and to give him a break as well. Yeah. Because I mean, he ran himself ragged. He ran himself ragged again in the game that with Spurs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100% he did. And last but not least, let's just quickly talk about our midfield. We've got Tommy Souček, we've got Declan Rice, but I want to focus on Tommy Souček a little bit. You know, he's been under a little bit of criticism, quite a bit actually, if you look at social media, from West Ham fans as such. Now, at the start of the season, between him and Declan Rice, they were giving away a ball a lot. They were losing possession a lot. But as the games have gone in, we're now coming into our next game in the Premier League. They've lost possession a lot less. And in actual fact, against Tottenham, compared to the Brighton game, the two of them lost possession against Brighton 32 times. But against Tottenham, they lost possession 11 times. Now, that's stepping up to the plate. Tommy Souček's getting further forward. Declan Rice is protecting that back line again. You know, how important is it that we get the best out of these two?
Oh, very important. I mean, I think you're going to see, hopefully for us now, with the World Cup coming up and Rice, I think Declan Rice now is going to really step up to the plate now, because he's getting himself ready for the World Cup. So I think we should see something there. Souček, I thought, played brilliantly the other day in the other game against Spurs. I thought he was great and scored a very good goal. He was in the position there as well to receive it. I thought the pass he got from Antonio was brilliant, and to score the goal. So yeah, I'm very confident in them two protecting and being and playing out from midfield and producing the goods.
Absolutely. You're David Moyes though, Dad. You're David Moyes, and you've come off a really good result. You know, in theory, you've beat Viborg in the Europa League conference and got a clean sheet. You've then gone ahead and beaten Aston Villa and you've got a clean sheet. You've drew with Tottenham, who a lot of people would have written us off. They have, especially from our start from the season. And we fought hard, and actually we're really unlucky in the end not to win the game. But we're coming into Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We know it's going to be hard. If you're David Moyes, what the hell are you going to say to your players?
Well, I mean, I think David Moyes has got a set play when he's talking to the players. I think he's going to have to get in there. He's going to have to build them with confidence now. After that game with Spurs, he's going to be able to turn and say to them, look, you've done it against a team that was hotly tipped to number one beaters and hotly tipped to be in the top four of the Premier League. So why can't we repeat that again and do it against Chelsea? I can't see really much more than he can say. I mean, I think we get self-motivation when we play the big teams anyway, don't you?
Well, I do. Definitely 100%. I think we've seen that over the last couple of years. And I think sometimes we've lacked that maybe bit of urgency against the teams that in theory that we would be mixing it up with at the bottom of the half of the league. But now we're trying to push. We have to be turning up and doing a job. Now, one thing I will say is that I was really impressed with West Ham's intensity to press. When we press a defence, an opposition team, and I will say that Tottenham struggled back in their defensive area, you know, and if I was Conte, I'd be going absolutely through them. But if I'm David Moyes, of course you need to be wary of the break. Of course you do. But for me, when you press and you put the pressure on, and you manage it in a structured manner like West Ham did against Tottenham, you're going to cause teams problems with the players that we've got.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, I think, as you said, like with like the pressure that that Spurs put on us in say in the first half, then we coped with it very well in the second half. I thought we did. We coped tremendously well with that in the second half. But coming back to Chelsea, we're always motivated against Chelsea. Yeah. We always have been and always will be. The second only perhaps to Spurs.
Yeah,
motivation 100% for Spurs, but it's there for Chelsea as well. So if we can go over and turn them over, that would be brilliant for us.
Yeah, really good. If we could do that, then we'd be on a little decent run. With trying to push up the league and Saturday fixture, get the fixture out of the way, and then see what happens and comes over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dad, thanks for joining us on the preview. Welcome. Any last words you want to say?
No, I'm fine. Just come on your hands and let's see if we can get a victory.
Yeah. So brilliant to have Dad on the show as well, giving our thoughts ahead of the game. Now, Moyes is going to have to decide whether to go back to a back three or a back four. And former Chelsea defender, new West Ham signing, Emerson is in line to potentially return to the left-hand side in some capacity. Now, with Paqueta likely to remain among the West Ham substitutes, because we do know that Moyes likes to do that. The rest of the team could stay the same, with Ben Johnson, Craig Dawson and Aguerd all expected to still be sidelined due to some knocks and injuries, etc. Now, Gianluca Scamacca was in training today with the rest of the squad, as was Craig Dawson, and he may return to the substitutes bench until he is fully recovered from a virus which kept him out of the Spurs game. Now, if you are watching, I want you to start putting in your team predictions. What's your starting 11 for the game against Chelsea tomorrow? Put it in the comments just now. Now, I did go ahead and ask young Jakey Boy for his opinion on the impact that Paqueta could make to the West Ham side. Let's go and check out what he had to say.
Hi guys, it's Jake from West Ham Unofficial. I hope you are all well. Just here today to talk about the Paqueta impact and what it's going to do for other players and what he can bring to the side. I mean, ahead of this Chelsea game, I wouldn't expect him to start. I'd expect him to feature at some point, but I think it's just going to give a kick up the backside to these players that are currently in front of him, which I think is going to be a really interesting battle between a player like Paqueta and Benrahma. They're playing in the same sort of position, and it's going to be interesting to see which player David Moyes picks in the near future, and B, what that battle's like. You know, what's Paqueta going to bring to the side? How's players like Benrahma going to stand up to it for now? These sorts of players. How's the general answer going to be from settled players in our squad? But the Paqueta impact is massive. Hopefully, he can bring a better winning just overall better mentality to the team. He's going to be massive on and off the pitch for West Ham. I wouldn't expect him to be featuring massively straight away, but for sure Paqueta will be a mainstay in our team very, very soon. A massive impact Lucas Paqueta will be.
Now, if you haven't already, go across and check out Jake's channel, West Ham Unofficial. Give him a like and a cheeky subscribe. Great content from a young lad who's got such a good knowledge of football. So make sure you do go across there and check that out. Now, I have asked you to put your starting 11 in, and I have asked Matt. Now, Matt will be returning to the show soon. Don't worry, we're just doing some background stuff to get things sorted, but I've asked him to give us his starting 11 for the game ahead against Chelsea tomorrow. So he has gone with Fabianski in goal to lead the line from the top, and he's gone for a back five formation where Sufal will play out there on the right-hand side, Zuma through the middle alongside Kira out on the right-hand side of the central of defence, and Ogbonna to come back in for his first start in the Premier League on the left-hand side of the defence, and in beside Emerson, who will make his first a start against his previous club, of course. And then, listen, we've got the formalities. We've got Rice, we've got Souček, who have absolutely stepped up to the plate, are progressively getting better as the season goes on, and I think David Moyes will be delighted with that. And I go back to the stat that we say that, you know, in the first game in the game against Brighton, they collectively lost the ball 32 times. But in the last game against Tottenham, collectively, they lost the ball 11 times. What a big difference that is. Then Matt has gone for Benrahma just to play off the back of Antonio alongside Bowen. And then, of course, Antonio up top. So what do you think of that starting lineup? This is how Matt has them lining up in the team there in a 5-2, a 3-5, sorry, a 5-2-2-1. Yeah, is that how you do it? Yeah, 5-2, a 5-2-3, or however you want to look at it. But yeah, I think that definitely could cause them a lot of problems. Now, like I always do in the shows, put your score predictions in the show before I give you mine. So I went across and asked young DJ Russie B to come on the preview and give us his score prediction for the game tomorrow against Chelsea.
Yes, peeps, you can't get rid of me. I'm even on Anton's shows now. It's not a crime scene. Get my drive done. Anyway, prediction for the Chelsea game. I am full of confidence tomorrow, particularly with the Tottenham game. Thought we played really well. Chelsea in the transition, same as us. Hopefully, but Aubameyang can't play, Zakaria can't play. They didn't register in time. So I'm going to go with a Desmond 2-2. Let's go for a 2-2 draw. Be a good game. Bye.
Right, I'm going to go for something similar, but I think West Ham could do the job there as long as we line up, you know, quite positively. And as long as we, you know, push Chelsea on the press like we did against Tottenham, I feel like we did it really well and caused their defence problems. They have got defensive issues. There's no ifs or buts about it. And there's a bit shaky back there, and that's what we need to test. And I think through our core, as long as we're strong and we have the right players turning up and doing the job they do each week, then I think we can turn Chelsea over at Stamford Bridge. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham victory, but put your predictions in the comment section below. Now, that does bring an end to our match preview. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe the channel as well. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can, of course, click the membership option. Now, we do have loads of shows coming up over the next few days, but make sure you do go back out and check the press conference. I've not covered the press conference because Russ has done the presser already, so go and check out that show. Go and check out his review of the summer transfer window on our West Ham Daily. Join us tomorrow for plenty of content for your one-stop shop where you get all West Ham content on the day of a game, so make sure you do that. And finally, we like to thank all the members for being very, very generous people, for coming on and supporting us on the channel. Stay safe, take it easy, and we'll see you later on. Come on, you Irons.
It's like a family tree, part of you and part of me.